I know we have two schools of thought here. The phonics school and the whole word sight school. Sometimes never the twain shall meet. Sometimes people get really heated about this, like screaming, shouting, etc. And that's teachers. So, but we have to again ask ourselves, well, what's my student's or my child's strength? Is it visual or is it auditory? Chances are it's visual. And phonological implies auditory. So a sequential letter-to-letter decoding strategy can be slow and inefficient, overloading the memory burden and resulting in inadequate pronunciation and lack of association to meaning. If a student has to work so hard at putting letters together, by the end of that, most often they've actually forgotten what's this word? What am I doing? Because they've had to engage in this laborious process. Now we might say, and well, we'll just keep going, it'll get better. Well, yeah, maybe over a great deal of time. I actually read in an article, this was like a journal article, a fairly prominent educator at the time say, well, we don't have any evidence to show that this isn't what we should do. So even if it takes the student 5 years to do what a neurotypical student could do in 1 year or less, we'll just keep doing it. Now I thought, that was terribly disrespectful, and educationally, again, I use that word, unconscionable, because that person was totally engaged in phonics, whereas that wasn't the most efficient way for our student with autism to learn. But whole word sight recognition wasn't fashionable at the time. And believe me, in the world of education, what is fashionable can often dictate what is done. Am I going to do this right or wrong? I don't know. Oh, I did it. Okay, matching, selecting, and naming the components of this methodology. We've already talked a little bit about that. You know, show me, give me red, matching red, give me red, etc. Now, this methodology in particular that is talked about in my book with Patricia, and Patricia also wrote Teaching Children with Down Syndrome to Read. I read that book, and at the time I had 12 students with Down syndrome on my caseload. So I read every word of it. I prepared kits for all of the teachers and teaching assistants to implement it on the same day. So it was like our own little study. And the success was such that after about a year, I thought, well, you know, children with Down syndrome are visual learners, and they have such success with it. I'm going to try it with my students with autism. And then I found, oh my God, this is beyond human belief. I could not believe the success that my students with autism were having, not just with word recognition, but it also extended to other areas, which I'll talk about in a minute.